she never asked for this. Rose was just an ordinary girl, at least, she had been before he came into her life. Before the night Lucian Vallon, the cruel and powerful vampire lord, decided she belonged to him. She had begged, pleaded, fought, but Lucian didn't understand the word no. "You're mine, Rose," he had whispered in the dark, his cold fingers tracing her jaw. "You can fight all you want, but you will never escape me." And when he threatened her family, she realized she had no choice but to stay. But the most terrifying part? A small, twisted part of her wanted to. Would she ever escape? Or was she destined to fall for the monster who refused to let her go? Rose had heard the rumors. Stories of the vampire lord who ruled the underworld with an iron fist, whose very name made men tremble. But she had never imagined she would be the one trapped in his world. She had been taken in the dead of night, stolen from her home, her wrists bound with cold silver chains. Lucian's mansion was a fortress of shadows, where the air itself felt suffocating under his presence. He was watching her now, lounging in a leather chair, dark amusement dancing in his blood-red eyes. "You look at me like you want to kill me," he mused, sipping from a crystal glass. "Blood, no doubt." "I do," she spat, yanking at the restraints. "Let me go." Lucian sighed, standing and moving toward her with slow, predatory steps. His beauty was unnatural, sharp cheekbones, a strong jaw, raven black hair falling over his forehead. A face carved by the gods, but touched by the devil. "I don't think you understand, Rose," he murmured, tilting her chin up. "I chose you. And when I choose something, I don't let it go." Her heart pounded as he leaned in, whispering against her lips, "Ever." Days turned into weeks. Lucian never hurt her, but he made it clear she would never be free. She refused to speak to him at first, ignored the lavish dresses he provided, refused the elegant dinners. But Lucian was patient. Amused, even. "You can starve if you wish," he had said, smirking. "But that stubbornness will break soon enough." She hated how right he was. One night, after she had refused food for 3 days, he found her weak and trembling. Without a word, he lifted her into his arms, carrying her effortlessly to the dining room. "Eat," he ordered, his voice firm but oddly gentle. Rose glared at him, but hunger won. She took a bite. Lucian smirked. "See? Not so difficult, was it?" She threw a knife at him. He caught it midair, laughing. "I do love that fire in you, sweetheart." Lucian was cruel, but not heartless. He never lied to her, never pretended to be good. But he protected her, kept her safe from the darker creatures of his world. One night, she woke up screaming from a nightmare. Before she could think, Lucian was there, gripping her wrists gently. "Shoo," he whispered, pulling her against his chest. His body was cool, but his embrace was strangely comforting. "It's just a dream." She should have pushed him away. Instead, she let herself rest against him, her heart still racing. "I hate you," she whispered. Lucian chuckled. "You will hate me," he corrected. "Until the day you don't." The night everything changed, Lucian was wounded. She had never seen him weak before. But now, he was slumped in a chair, his shirt soaked in blood, his breathing labored. Elena stood frozen. "What happened?" "An ambush," he muttered. "I underestimated them." For the first time, he looked mortal. Vulnerable. She could have walked away right then. Could have let him suffer. But instead, she stayed. She cleaned his wound, ignoring the way he hissed when her fingers brushed his skin. When she was done, he caught her wrist, his touch unexpectedly warm. "You should hate me," he murmured, eyes searching hers. "I do," she whispered. But even she didn't believe it anymore. The sound of a man's cries echoed through the cold halls of the mansion. Rose ran toward the source, heart pounding. She knew Lucian had a cruel streak, but this? In the grand hall, Lucian stood over a man on his knees, his white dress shirt splattered with blood. The poor soul trembled as Lucian gripped his chin, forcing him to look up. Tell me, Lucian murmured, his voice as cold as death. Why were you looking at her? The man stammered, I wasn't. A sharp crack cut through the air as Lucian struck him across the face. Lucian, stop! Rose cried, pushing between them. Her small hands pressed against Lucian's chest, trying to create distance. Lucian's red eyes darkened as he turned his gaze to her. You're defending him? He asked, voice deceptively calm. He did nothing wrong, she shot back. You can't just hurt people because of me. Lucian's jaw tightened, his fingers curling into fists. The man on the floor was nothing to him, yet the way Rose threw herself in front of him, it made rage coil in his chest. She cared. And that infuriated him. For a long, agonizing moment, Lucian said nothing. Then, with an exhale, he let the man go. Leave, he ordered. The man scrambled away without hesitation. Rose let out a relieved breath, but before she could step back, Lucian's hand gripped her chin, forcing her to look up at him. His jealousy burned deep. You will never look at another man again, he whispered, his voice dangerously soft. Not like that. Not if he isn't me. Rose shivered. You can't control what I feel, she whispered back. Lucian leaned in, his lips brushing her ear as he murmured, watch me. That night, Rose sat in front of the locked door to her bedroom, her mind racing. She had spent weeks fighting, searching for a way to escape, but Lucian was always one step ahead. And after tonight's jealous outburst, she knew one thing for certain. He would never let her go. The door creaked open. She looked up, and there he stood, Lucian, tall and imposing, his black silk robe slightly undone, revealing the hard lines of his chest. Rose, he murmured, stepping inside. She scrambled to her feet. What do you want now? His lips curved into a smirk, but his eyes burned with something deeper. I realized something today, he said, walking toward her until she was backed against the bedpost. He lifted a hand, tracing a single finger down her cheek. I've given you too much freedom. I've let you think there was a way out of this. Her breath hitched. You're saying I don't have a choice, she whispered. Lucian's smirk deepened. Exactly. She clenched her fists. I'll never love you. His gaze softened, just for a fraction of a second. Then, he leaned in, pressing a cold, lingering kiss to the corner of her lips. Then I'll just have to make you, he murmured. I will try my hardest, every day, to make you fall in love with me. Her heart pounded as his arms wrapped around her waist, pulling her against him. And when you do, he nipped at her ear, his voice a promise. You'll never want to leave. Rose should have pushed him away. She should have fought. But as Lucian's lips trailed down her neck, a dangerous warmth bloomed in her chest. And for the first time, she wasn't sure if she still wanted to run. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe.